Hello, seventh grade writers. This is Mrs. Harding, and today I'm going to review with you a quote sandwich. And if you haven't seen this or don't remember, no worries, you can learn it now. So think of how a sandwich is made up of three main parts. You've got the bread on top, you've got something yummy in the middle, and you've got bread on bottom. And the quote sandwich is similar. So the bread on top, the first part, is where you're going to introduce the quote. This includes the who and the when of the quote. So for example, as an example from the book Liddy, it says, while working at the tavern in chapter 3, Liddy has to endure difficult living situations or conditions. So it is a way to kind of warm up the reader so they know what they're about to read. Sometimes if you just put a quote in your writing, just randomly, stick it in there, it's hard to follow. So think about that like if you have a reader who hasn't read the book before, right? Let's say that. Then, if all of a sudden they're reading, like for example, this quote just starts with her sleeping under the eaves of a windowless passage, they might be really confused, like, who is sleeping there and why is she there and what's going on? So you warm them up a little bit, you give them a little bit of information, especially the who and the when, or sometimes the where, just giving them a little bit more information so that they're ready to read and understand the quote. So the first part is you introduce the quote so that the reader can understand the quote. The middle part of the sandwich is when you actually put in the quote. So here you want to make sure to put quotation marks around the quote so that the reader knows that this is actually taken directly from the book. And then you want to put parentheses after the quote with the numbers inside being the page number of where you found the quote. So here it's probably the easiest part of the whole thing because you're literally just copying and pasting it in with quotation marks and then parentheses with the page number to give credit and for the reader to be able to know where they could find that quote because maybe they want to read more or read before and after it to get a better understanding. So you always give that information. Then the last part of the quote sandwich is where you analyze the quote. This is where you are writing in your own words and you're giving some more details. You're explaining how the quote supports your main idea because normally when you're putting in a quote, it's not just for no reason. You're probably trying to give some evidence to support your claim. So you want to make sure that you explain that here so that the reader is really clear. You're connecting the dots for them. So here's some examples of how you can do that. You could say this means that, da 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 da, or this shows that, or this demonstrates that. So those are ways that you can help the reader say, oh, okay, they're linking the quote and they're linking it to this. So here's an example. This shows that Liddy is treated badly without even a bed to sleep in or a room of her own. So in this example, the main idea or the claim is probably something about Liddy working in really hard conditions, right? And so they're trying to prove that with this quote, and they introduced it with where the quote's from and who it's about, and that she has to endure difficult living conditions. They put the quote in here to prove that, and then they wrap it up with a really clear explanation in their own words that shows that she's treated badly. She doesn't even have a room to sleep in or a bed to sleep in. Okay, so this, I hope you see it's not a complete paragraph. This is literally only 3 sentences or more, depending on how long your quote is. So 3, 4 sentences or so. But so this could be in the middle of a paragraph, right, or the beginning or the end, but somewhere in a paragraph. It's not a paragraph on its own, usually, unless you're giving a lot more explanation here and you're giving a conclusion sentence at the end, then it could be a paragraph. But this is not a full paragraph in and of itself. It is just a way for you to provide evidence in a really clear way so that your reader understands the evidence and also understands why you put it in. Okay, use this quote sandwich format in your argumentative essay that we are writing right now. It will help you tremendously, so don't forget to use it. Bye.